What's up, YouTube? So another video today. I got a special one for you guys. All right, I'm going to be interviewing my client, my guy Davonte. All right, he's been one of my best clients so far. Bro has been crushing it. All right, I have like his before and after somewhere in here, but bro, he's been absolutely crushing it. He's been seeing so good of results, bro. Like I'm like, man, you look like a completely different person, right? So in this video, you guys will, see what it's like, what Davonte was struggling with before he started my program, why he hired me, his time in the program, like his experience, and would he basically refer my coaching to anyone else? Because look, Davonte is a realist, right? He's like, man, he told me on the call, he's like, man, I just want to see the results. Like he was very coachable. He's like, man, I need to see the results though. I need to see results. If you want to see results, right? And you want to work with me, you need to watch this video, okay? Because it really will shed a lot of light on a lot of things. All right, and I ain't gonna lie, he dropped some gems in here, things that I didn't even think about. He dropped in here. All right, so I tell you guys all the time, my program is the best shit, right? But I'm the owner. All right. I'm very biased. All right. So now you get to hear from someone else, right? How good my program has been helping, how good my program has been helping him, right? All the things that he's learned, right? All that good stuff. So, man, just take some time, watch this whole entire video. You'll learn a lot. All right. And if you're not in a spot where you can, get a coach, right? Davonte dropped so much knowledge in this video. You can go apply the knowledge that he's giving you in this video, and you can actually go apply it on your own and get results. That's how in depth like this whole process was with him. Okay, so enjoy the video. I have more videos coming out for you guys very very soon. All right, but let's get into it. I'll catch y'all then. And this is a client of mine, Davonte. Davonte has been a part of my program. I want to say 3 months. 3 months. Three
Yeah,
months.
this be finishing up the third month, I believe. Yep.
Third month, yeah. So Davonte has been part of my program for 3 months, and he's been seeing amazing progress in only 3 months, right? So I'm going to use this time to basically let him drop you guys some game on how he did it, right? He's going to tell you a lot about what it's like working with me, right? So if you're like thinking about working with me and but you don't know too much about me, this is a great time to hear what my clients have to say, right? So other than that, let's dive straight into it. All right. Now, Davonte, before we actually get into your time in the program, tell us a little bit about your background before the program. Like, what were you doing fitness wise before you joined the program, right? And what struggles were you finding that you were having when you were doing it on your own or, working with other people? Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yep. So before I linked up with George, pretty much I was working out 4 or 5 days, like consistently. Like I never had a problem with consistently going to the gym. Um, I just really didn't know what I was doing nutrition wise. And also after working with George, I realized I wasn't even training hard enough too. So really my biggest issue was I just didn't really know what I was doing to get the body I wanted. Like I thought my next step was just to keep getting bigger and bigger, which I went from like 160 to like 173. And I thought I was on the right path, but I was really just getting, fat. And
Mm.
then, I tried trainers at the gym I go to, and, they didn't really give me any game on nutrition to step things up that way. And, a lot of the trainers I was dealing with were out of shape themselves. So, I just took a step back. I was at a real estate conference. This lady named Sasha told me she had a coach. And I
Like
didn't really know.
like an online coach,
Yeah, yeah, she had an online coach.
okay.
Yep, yeah, an online coach. And I never knew really what that was. And then, like, ironically, the next day, I'm just on Facebook scrolling, and I'm friends with George on Facebook, but I just never really was conscious of it. That's what he did.
Right,
And
right.
I shot him a DM. He was, talking about working out and things like that. And then pretty much the rest was history from there.
Man, 100%. So, I think that's interesting, bro. I think that's really interesting. Of course, I know this story because you told me, but I think it's kind of interesting. Like, you were at a conference. First, tell me, a little bit. Why do you think that the in person, like, didn't work for you? Because a lot of people know. First, I want you to talk to me, like, why do you think the in person or the things that you were doing before wasn't really working for you, or what were you unsure about that made you reach out, right? And then, we'll start off with that. Start off with that. Start off with that.
Yeah. Yeah, really, because the in person is really kind of beginnerish. Like it's really for beginners. Like if you really are struggling getting to the gym, you don't really know the movements.
Mhm.
But that really wasn't my issue. Like I played football in high school, so we had a weight training coach, so I knew how to do bench press, deadlifts, and all that stuff.
Right.
And a trainer, they also weren't giving you like nutrition facts or anything like that. They would just say stuff in here and there, like, "Hey, you should eat eggs versus that." But I didn't have an actual meal plan, and I didn't even know what a macro was until we got together and
Mhm.
how that plays a role in building your physique.
Mhm.
Um, so that's really the deficiency of like an in-person trainer. You're just really learning how to work out.
Yeah.
You got somebody there with you teaching you how to do it, but that's probably less than half the equation of actually seeing results.
Man,
So
that's what I be telling people, bro. Like that's like they think that just being consistent is enough. Like they're just like, oh yeah, if I just was consistent and I eat a little healthier, I'll be okay. And I'm like, nah, it's a little bit deeper than that, bro. It's not like rocket science, of course, but it's not like that simple, right? So yeah, no, I agree with you. I agree with you on that, man. So and for the people watching, like they might be like, man, what the hell is an online trainer, right? So when you first heard about online trainer, like what was your thoughts on that? Like when your coworker Sasha really told you about that, like what was your thoughts? Were you scared a little bit? You was like, what is that? Did you do your research? Like how did you find out? Like, but did you kind of just find out what it was by talking to me? Like, was that kind of how it went?
yeah, it's kind of like 50-50. So she kind of was saying like, yeah, he's got me, the guy he put together a meal plan, like I'm eating chicken and rice. So it sounded like, okay, an online coach will give you a meal plan. But my thought of an online coach was like the
Mm.
people doing like the dance routines and stuff. Like
Ah.
that was my thought of an online coach. I'm like, but then like I said, I just happened to be on Facebook one day and you was blasting out videos and I'm just looking at it. I'm just like, okay, let me just DM him and have a conversation and see what happens from there.
Mm-hmm.
But from our messages, it sounded like I was going to be on a structured plan. So it kind of gave me a little more clarity. And then before our meeting, I was kind of just doing some research on my own
Okay.
of
Okay.
what exactly was. So by the time we met, I was already sold. Like I didn't care what the price was. It was just more so I'm doing it because I'm tired of, I can't afford not to do it, at this point. Like I'm wasting my time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was the thing. And that was the thing about a lot of people. That's one thing about a lot of people. Like they're kind of and one thing that struck out to me, like when you joined the call was like you're like, man, I'm trying to learn, right? And that was a big difference, right? Most people come to the call, I want results, right? Which you should, you should want results, right? But when you learn, right? When you learn how to get results, then it goes from you ever heard the phrase, teach a man how to fish, he'll eat forever. Give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day.
Yep.
That's kind of the phrase that was in my mind when you tell me that. I'm like, okay, once I teach you everything that you need to know, right? If you ever leave, right? Um, then you'll know how to do it on your own and you will be able to stay in shape, right, on your own, right?
Yep.
So other than that, yeah, no, I agree with everything. And the call, the call was that was one thing, one thing you were willing to learn, and you was like, man, I just really just want to, get this down. So now now that we talked about a little bit before you join like your struggles, how like when you first joined, like your first month or two, well it's only been 3 months, your first month in the program, like how did it go, and what results were you seeing, and then what ultimately did you end up, right, what results did you end up seeing in the first 1 to 3 months, bro, like so far in the program?
Yeah. Yeah. Like, so my first month, it was kind of, I was kind of stubborn to the process, like my first week or two, because I was still stuck in the mindset like I need to get bigger, and you put me on a different plan, to get all my fat off. So I just had to accept that piece first. Like I got to take a step back to do it correctly the first time. So that was a tough part for me in the beginning. But then I started seeing the changes. I'm like, wait, I'm losing weight, I'm losing belly fat, and I actually look better than when I was weighing more. So then that's what really, got me into it. And then it was just, a lifestyle change. I couldn't just like I'm used to going to like restaurants every weekend. Like I had to kind of change that a little bit. I
Mm.
still go, but it's planned out. Uh,
Yes.
it was just a big lifestyle change. schedule change, but it honestly changed my life for the better. Like I'm more productive at work. I'm having one of my best years ever in my career. And what's even more important, like it's changing the people around me. Like my fiance, she's eating better. Like my sister's considering joining a program. Like my dad's eating a little bit healthier. Like he called me and said he's eating a lettuce wrap. I'm just like, yeah. So it's like I see, and my mom like she eating Halo Top ice cream versus
The Halo Top is actually good though.
yeah versus Blue Bunny, and I'm just starting to realize like I'm actually changing the people who are close to me. So like I love it. It's just it's life changing.
Man, and
And
all
I'm
be
not even pushing it on. I'm not even pushing it on. They just
right.
see how I'm eating and how I'm living. So it's cool.
Man, yeah, and it's crazy because I tell a lot of people like, um, you have to see results, right? Like you, if you don't see results, you're like you're selfish to a point, to a fault. Like because I get a lot of people that tell me like, hey, I want to be an example for my kids or my girl or whoever, right?
Yeah.
And I tell them, I'm like, bro, they're not gonna follow after you until they see changes in you. So you consistently going to the gym and not seeing the change that you want to see, not, getting the results at a, quick enough rate, it really actually what's the word? Turns them off
Yeah.
to the whole process. Because you have to realize like the only look, all that we go to be healthy, right? But you can only be healthier if you're seeing changes, if you're dropping fat and putting on muscle, that you'll be healthier that way, right? We go, yeah, you can go for your mental health or whatever people tell themselves that they want to do, but your mental health will be a lot better, right? If you saw changes.
Yep.
Because if you went and didn't see no changes and then you're going for your mental health, that destroys your mental health. That destroys your self-esteem and your confidence because now you're going and not seeing the results that you want, even though you're in there pushing hard and sacrificing.
Right.
It constructs a person that is okay with settling, right? And I preach very hard to you guys, never be that person, right? So but I'm glad to hear that, actually I didn't know that. I didn't know that all your family members and stuff like that were taking after. I can see how my family and stuff like that, my girl, how when when I'm doing that, they change, but man, I never thought, so that's great. So so talk to me a little bit about that, bro. I know you said you were a little stubborn at the beginning, man, and we know with the process. Tell me about that. Like, because a lot of guys, bro, they don't want to listen. Like they just the plan is clear. Like it's not simple, but it's clear.
Yeah, yeah.
So what do you think changed with you, bro? Like that really had you come in and just start like I know it was like a little bit while before you really started, trusting. But like what changed for you, bro, that made you really just like, let me just trust the process and let me just see where it goes, right? Because some people it takes them like damn near 3-4 months for them to finally be like, okay, let me just. But you kind of just did it quickly. Like what
Yeah.
made it stage for you?
So mentally, I was still in the phase that I wanted to bulk, but I was actually still following your plan. Like, so I was like, I'm gonna just see if this worked, but I still want to get bigger. But I'm just gonna do what he said, like eat the macros. He said eat, hit the steps, do the workouts. Um, yeah, so like I still was following your plan, but mentally I wasn't there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then after my first 30 days, when the app said take your progress pic, then I looked at my body and I'm like, wait, I lost a lot of fat and I just look bigger. Like I look,
Yeah, that was a
yeah,
Chico, wasn't it? Yeah.
yeah, I lost like 6 or 8 pounds or something like that, I think the first month. But I'm like, I look bigger. So I was like, all right, this works. So I think I just had to see the results first for myself. And then like now I just trust everything you said. Like eat this, all right, do these steps, all right,
Right.
do this workout. I'm like, all right, I'm not gonna question it. Just take the thinking out of it. Like so
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't have to do my own research like I was doing. And I
Man.
know you wouldn't lead me down the wrong path, so I just,
No,
100%
no,
trust
no.
what you're saying.
Like people don't realize like it's in my best interest for you to get the results. Like
Yep.
it's literally in my best interest for you to get the results. Like be quiet, be quiet, be quiet, be quiet. It's like that. But
One other thought too, like it was one thing you said, like weigh yourself every day. And I had resistance to that too. It's because, you get on YouTube, people say, don't do that every day, you'll get discouraged. But it's just little small stuff like that. It shows me day to day how I'm tracking. Like, so just, I mean, it's just so much game I get from you.
man, yeah, a lot of people would say not. And actually, I was one of those people that was against that at first too. right? But then one of my coaches, my fitness coaches, they was like, yeah, man, um, it's just more data, right? Don't 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 attach your worth to what the scale says, right?
Yep.
And it was such a game changer, and I was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense, right? Because a lot of people, they look at the scale and they're like, okay, like I hop on the scale, it go up. They're if they're trying to lose weight, if it goes up, they're like, oh, I'm a loser, blah blah blah. And the only reason why people tell you not to do that and it discourages you, is because usually when people get discouragement, they stop, right?
Yep.
That's the root reason why people don't want you to do it because they don't want you to hop on the scale and then be like, well, since I gained 2 pounds today, let me just go eat the whole cupboard.
Yep.
That's the reason why they tell you to do that because a lot of people are like that, right? But like I don't work with straight up beginners who attach all their worth to the scale, right? You guys are working out. So if you consistently work out, that 2 pounds will be gone in the next couple of days.
Yeah.
So and it just helps me see how your body's reacting, right? So like the people out there, like that's the biggest game changer. Like if you started weighing yourself every day, you wouldn't be so a lot of people wouldn't be so susceptible to gaining a lot of weight because that scale holds them accountable,
Yep.
right? If
Real
you
time.
yeah, yeah, like if you get on the scale every day, right? Let's say you had a night where you was just eating whatever. You know in the back of your mind, damn, I gotta get on that scale no more. I don't want that scale to go up.
Yeah.
People neglect that. They neglect that because they don't want to be aware. A lot of people, the reason why they struggle is because they're just not aware that they're like I've had people. I don't know if you've had it before, or maybe you in your journey, right? Where you kind of just hopped on the scale one day, it's like, hey, let me just see how much I weigh, right? And then you gained a couple pounds. You're like, oh shit, I'm bigger than I thought,
Yep.
right? So that happens all the time because they're not constantly aware. I use that to constantly keep you focused. Like, okay, damn, like I'm constantly picking up weight. Like, what am I doing wrong? Right? So, um, yeah, no, yeah, that's a big gem. You consistently weigh yourself, you'll never be out of shape, right? You just doing that. Um, so I know that, the first month you kind of, you started seeing the results. Like what now, I know it's only been 3 months and we got some more time
Yep.
to go, right?
Years to put in.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like you're gonna be looking crazy, right? We already talked about your plan like moving forward. But like so far, like in the first 3 months, like what specific results did you see that you liked, right? And then after you saw those results, right? Yeah, but what first like, to tell the people, I'd already dropped the pictures, but like people on YouTube didn't see it. But
Yeah.
what specific results, like how much fat did you lose in the first 3 months? Um, and tell like just talk a little bit about our in person, right? Our in person experience, right? When
Yeah.
you visit in person.
Yep. So, in regards to like the fat loss, so my scale that I have, it tracks body fat also,
Hmm.
which is what, Coach and I are focused on versus the weight, like, dropping body fat. So when I started the program, my scale said like 22.82%, which is
Okay.
what my body fat was. Um, I think I started like 171 pounds,
Uh-huh.
basically 23% body fat. Right now, when I weighed in this morning, I think it was 151 weight and then 15% body fat. So like in 3 months, I lost 8% body fat and now I have visible abs. Like,
Right.
you know, it's cool now, like I got abs now.
And it's crazy because you look bigger.
Yep.
That's
I
it.
look bigger at 150 than I did at 171. Like it's crazy.
And people don't realize like that's why I look so big, right?
Yep.
Because I'm so lean that my actual muscle definition can show,
Yep.
right? And yours too, because you've been an athlete, bro. Like you have good muscle definition. It's just covered under the fat that you had, right? So,
Yep.
talk about a little bit about our in-person experience because for you guys that that don't know, like this is only for my Michigan clients. We all meet up once a month, right? Um where I give them some game and stuff. And because I used to be an in-person trainer, just like everybody else, right? But I kind of veered away from it to do online. But I was like, hey, since I'm having more Michigan clients now, let's all meet up, right? So tell them a little bit about your in-person experience, right? When you met not only me, right, but like other clients and stuff around the area.
Yep, yep. So the first time we met, I think we met at like Edge Fit. Yeah, we met at Edge the first time. We got like right to it training. Like I just really saw like when you were training. I think Raynard was with it, which is me, Raynard, and your girl that day. The
Yep.
first time we went,
Hmm.
and I just like saw how intense y'all were training. Like even Raynard, like he was going hard. Like you were going hard, your girl was going hard, and I'm like, oh shoot, I got to start training harder.
Hmm.
And then that's really like when you broke down like intent training intensity. And I feel like from that training session, like I've been like pushing myself to like failure close to like every set.
Hmm.
And I just been getting stronger. Like the next time we met up, I felt like I was almost like 10 times stronger just from that one in person, meeting, just seeing what the actual intensity looked like.
Hmm.
Yeah, so that was really a game changer. So whenever you got those, like I got a busy work schedule, I make time for it. Like it's really like almost a non-negotiable, so.
Yeah. So let me ask you about that too, because I know a lot of business owners and busy people. They don't want to make the time, or they act like they can't make the time. Like, how do you like? What switched for you, man? That like just really just made you like. What message would you give to the busy guy, right? That wants to get in shape, but just is talking always about work, work, work. Like, what would you say to them?
Yeah,
You're busy because you're actually really, really busy, right? I'm not.
yeah.
Yeah. So.
So for me, it just really comes down to like, so I'll be in the gym, let's say 7 o'clock, and I got clients calling me, clients calling me. I look at my phone. Well, first of all, I put on Do Not Disturb so I don't see it.
Right.
But it just really comes down to like, I want this bad. Like, I want to change my body. Like, me distracting myself with busy work, because I identify like what's important in my actual job. Like, my important thing is getting in front of clients to get them to buy or sell a house. Like, if it's not that and it's during my gym time, it's not really important to me at that exact moment because this is one of the most important things in my life right now is changing my physique.
Man, no, that's actually that's like needle moving activity. Like you focus on needle moving activity as my as Harmosian, or we'll call it. But like actually things that are moving the business forward. A lot of people do a lot of busy work, like just kind of just like,
Yep.
well, yeah, I'm just I'm busy. You want to be productive. But okay, so it sounds like the desire like of really wanting to change. So what do you think that desire came from? Right? Like that desire to really want to change your body. What do you think that came from for you?
Well, really, I always wanted to be in shape. Like I always like health and fitness. Like it's always been a passion of mine.
Mm,
I think a lot of it just being in your community, like just seeing people hit their steps every day.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
it's almost like I don't want to let my boys down. Like even though I don't really know everybody in the group personally, but it's like everybody doing their stuff. I don't want to let them down. I don't want to let myself down. I notice when I slip on the gym, my fiance, she slips on the gym, my sister slips on the gym. So it's like I always been like a leadership position in life. So it's just
Yeah,
I know my actions affect others. So it's becoming bigger than me. Like I just want to see others do well for the most part. And that starts with me.
man,
Yeah.
100%. And for you men that are watching, because I coach majority men, you guys don't think that you are, but you're leaders, and everybody that's around you is watching what you're doing. Right? They're like, oh, Devontae's slipping up, so I can slip up too, right? Like I noticed my girl, like what I'm saying, when I'm not hitting my macros and stuff like that, she kind of slips and she falls, right? When I don't post my steps, you guys are kind of like little lax, like, oh, what I'm saying, I don't have to hit it. But when I stay on y'all about that, everybody's locked in, right? When I stay on my stuff, everybody's locked in because you raise the standard, right? As I feel, actually, this is not how I feel. This is what I know. I'm not gonna say I feel, this is what I know. Men set the tone. They set the standard, right? If I set my standard this high, right, you're either gonna meet that standard, right? Because Davonte knows. I kind of told him the standard from when we first started. I'm like, yeah, this is exactly what we got to do if you want to see
Yeah.
this result. Like I make it very. There's no. It's crazy because I don't make it. There's no room for confusion. It's like very detailed. I'm like, if you do this, this, and this, you'll get this outcome. But
Yeah.
if you do this, this, and this, you'll get this outcome, right? Because I've been doing it so long, I can see. Like, have you ever heard about NBA players or great players that kind of can see what's going to happen before they happen? Sometimes,
Yeah. Yeah. Kobe talk about that a lot. Like he could predict the game basically.
yeah. I
Yeah.
can I can predict if some how much I can almost predict what's going to happen before it happens. Like I literally can because it's just being logical, right? So I'm like, if I know that if you do this, and the way that the workouts are set up, it's all science based, right? If you do these, it's scientifically impossible for you not to get this outcome,
Right.
right? And some of my clients don't know that. But if you keep on doing, what you were doing, or you do this, you're going to get this outcome.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so like I can kind of predict the future. So like when it comes to the fitness stuff. Now, with that being said, man, like, you've been having great success. People hear about, your success, and they're just kind of like, man, Davonte, like I hear you, you got great results, but how's this gonna work for me? Like, do you think like what would you say to people like that? Like they're like, man, like yeah, it probably works for you, but um, what if it doesn't? Like what about me though? Right? What would you say to them? Because I know that you saw my client testimonials, but you still bet on yourself, right? What
Yeah.
would you say to them? Like you still invested. Like what would you say to them?
Yeah. Because I mean, I think that just naturally happens to everybody. Like when I first started, I'm like, man, I don't know if I could look like that guy. I don't know if I'd be able to do it. But you start to see, you develop the belief once you actually start doing the actions. Like after that last picture you posted, I'm just like, wait, I can do this. You know what I mean? I'm like, so now I just want to go even harder. Because I'm
Yeah.
like you said, it's science. Like if you eat a certain way, you train a certain way, you hit your step count, like your body's gonna start changing. You
Yeah.
know, it's just first you just gotta actually do it, and then you start seeing the results from yourself. Because you really can't. It's really hard to just fake believe that you will do it unless you start doing it. So I always believe like you got to do it first, and then you start seeing the results happening to you. You at
Mhm.
least got to give it like 2 to 3 months. Like you can't just do a 1 or 2 week sample size.
Yeah, you gotta actually try it. Like the guys, they'd be like, "Well, I don't know if it's gonna work for me, man. Like I need to see the." I actually had one person like, "Yeah, I gotta see my plan." I'm like, "Bro, I haven't wrote you out a plan yet."
Yeah,
Right? So like, I
yeah,
can't give you the plan. That would be a general plan that I'm giving you,
yeah,
right? It wouldn't be customized, but yeah. Okay, so anybody that's like watching, and they're like, "Man, I want to search." They're searching for a fitness coach too, right? Um, give them some first, would you refer, anybody to this program? Actually, no, you have been referring, right?
yeah,
So
yeah,
I can't even say that you have been referring. But like, what would you say to them? Like they're on the fence. They're still watching. They're on the fence though. They're like, okay, like I do want to get in shape, but I don't know if I really want to invest right now. What would be your words to them? Like, somebody who's been watching, and they've kind of just been on the fence. But they've been watching our calls and our everything.
yeah.
What would you say to them?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't even say anything to him. I just ask him 2 questions. Like the first question, go look at yourself in the mirror. Do you like how you look? Do you like the results you got? That's the first thing. If the answer is no, then ask yourself, okay, if it's a financial thing, then ask yourself, well, what else am I spending my money on? Am I going out every weekend? Am I buying bottles at the club? Am I doing excellent? Like, where am I just wasting frivolous money? And
Mhm.
then just ask yourself, if I cut that out and put it here, what would my life look like? Essentially, just ask yourself those 2 questions. If I actually do make the investment, what can my life look like on the other end?
Mm.
Uh, Are you happy with yourself? And two, if I make the investment, what will my life look like? And is that better than your current situation? Like it's that simple.
It's just logical sense to me,
And
right?
the answer is no, you really don't want to change and just keep doing what you're doing.
I agree.
Yeah.
And I said this in a story yesterday. I said change requires submission, right? Submission, right? And I thought, and a lot of men hate that, right? Because we don't want to submit. We don't want to submit to our women. We don't want to submit to our circumstances, stuff like that. So we deflect, right?
Yeah.
If you are getting a coach, essentially what you're doing is you're submitting everything that you know, right, about fitness, and you're throwing it out the window.
Yeah.
So if you guys want a physical explanation of what that looks like, that would be like me walking you up to the window, and you got all this knowledge about fitness that you think that you know. I'm like, throw all that out the window. You're gonna do what I tell you to do. A lot of people don't like that, right? I've noticed. But there's no change without that. Because if you hold on, like Davonte said, right? He was still like he was there, but he wasn't physically there yet, right? Sometimes it takes people just to follow the plan a couple weeks for them to see the results, for them to be like, oh shit, like, okay, throw that shit out the window. Let me, let me try this new thing, right? So um man, yeah, so change requires submission, for sure. And Davonte just been just following the plan, right? He just been following the plan, sticking to it. We stay in consistent contact every single day, so it's easy to coach him, right? And tell him exactly what he has to do because he asks a ton of questions, right? So the last question that I have for you, or one of the last questions that I have for you, like how has our client community affected you that or impacted you to seeing more results? Like how has that our client community, how has that been helpful to your change and your results? And how important is community, do you think, on your journey? Because a lot of guys they're doing it on their own, right? They ain't got nobody, right? They just
Yeah.
kind of doing and winging it on themselves. Like how important is community to you, or how has it been important to you so far?
No, community, that's probably one of the biggest game changers too, like in the value and the coaching.
Hmm.
Because what is it, 50 plus guys in the group, like everybody's posting their wins every day. People dropping gems what they eating. Like I just bought some of the legendary protein pastries. Like you just learn so much from other people's experience. Like Montreal, he hitting 20,000 steps a day for whatever reason. But he's changing his life. And it's like, man, that's dope. Like Dame's lost a lot of weight, Princeton's lost a lot of weight. And like those guys, putting the work they putting in is just inspiring. Like Montreal Dane, Princeton, Corey, like
Yeah,
just how much weight they lost, and like just the new people coming in. So it's like I got to catch up with these guys. Like I want to, get results like these guys. So like that's the big. Cause I'm a competitive person, so I'm like I got to go hard too. So the community is everything.
man, fire. No, yeah, 100%. Like, and that's the big thing that people are missing. The main thing is the accountability in the community, right? So, man, yeah, no, no, I appreciate it. I don't have any more questions. Any any last remarks that you want to make about, anything so far? Any gems that you want to give the viewer? Because people gonna watch, people gonna
Yeah.
watch. Like any gems that you want to give the viewer about, if they're doing this on their own and they're kind of struggling a little bit. They've been trying to in-person trainer. They feel like they tried everything. What's some game that you'll give them?
Really, the first thing is just gonna be humility. Like you just gotta really humble yourself, and like I said, just take a look in the mirror. I think there's a book David Goggins talks about the accountability mirror.
Yep.
Look at yourself in the mirror. If you don't have the body you want, that means you're doing something wrong.
And I'll be
And
telling people that. Okay, go ahead. My
yeah.
bad. Go ahead.
No, no, no. Yeah, that means you're doing something wrong and you need help. Like, and that's the real. I'm not trying to sell George's program or anything like that, but that's really how you change your life in any area. Like, if you relationship problems, financial problems, you look yourself in the mirror and you go find somebody who can help you do it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what it costs because you got to fix this problem. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because it's clearly bothering you. So that's my 2 cents. If you got a problem, have somebody help you fix it because you can't fix it on your own because you got yourself here. So.
Man, it's crazy, bro. A mentor told me, bro, stop focusing on what to do. Focus on who.
Hmm.
And when he said that, I was like, bro, what the fuck is he talking about? I'm like, bro, what are you talking about? Like I'm thinking, like I'm listening, but I'm like, what does that mean? He said, stop focusing on what to do, right? Because you might not be the person who can achieve it. And I'm like, and then that took a big hit to my ego because I'm like, no, what does that mean? Like, I'm enough because I took it personally, right? I took it personally, so I'm like, no, I'm enough because we've been conditioned, But he's like, no, 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 no. Listen to what I'm saying. Who you are has gotten a specific outcome, right? So you need to find someone who has the outcome that you want and learn from them. Don't take it personally. You just don't have the knowledge, you don't have the expertise in this field to get the outcome that you want. Because if you did, you'd have the result that you want.
Yep.
Because a lot of guys tell me all the time, bro, like I know what to do, I'm just not doing it. And you've never had the body. Like I'm like, if you knew exactly what to do, you would do it. You would do it, right? Am I right? You would have the body that you want. No one openly or they don't willingly let themselves be fat. They don't, or out of shape, whatever you want to call it. So it's just that's just master delegation, right? That's just a higher level. I'm starting to realize that that's a higher level way of thinking.
Yep.
Delegation, right? Allowing the right people, and I'm not even trying to sell myself at this point. I tell this openly on my story. If you don't feel like I'm the coach for you, because sometimes I am kind of abrasive and very direct, right? Some people can't handle that. If my biggest takeaway from whole Devontae's whole journey is he was honest with himself. He's like, I'm not getting the results that I want. So he reached out to the trainer. He went through it to figure it out. Okay, so he took action. Okay, because he delegated. He was like, okay, I don't know, like I don't have the body that I want. Let me go find a trainer, right? And a lot of people have trouble with just that part, right? But she was like, I'm gonna take action on it. I'm gonna learn from this. A lot of people be like, no, I don't like you failed from it, so like blah blah blah. They'd be all in their feelings and shit. No, you learn from it. That's a learning lesson. I look at that as a lesson. Great. In-person training, not for me. Like that's just I'm past that. You talk to a coworker about it, and then they was like, yeah, just get a fitness coach. If you hadn't went through what you went through, you wouldn't have gotten to where you are right now, right? And he was real with himself and he delegated. So the viewer watching, stop focusing on what, because society will confuse you. It's not about what, it's about who. There's billions of people on this earth that has done with your what you're trying to do. Billions. All you have to do is find the right one who can get you to where you want to go, and you'll get there a lot faster. A lot of people ask me like, how do I lose weight fast? How do I build muscle fast, 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 fast? And my answer stays the same every single time. Have someone who is in the position that you wouldn't mind being in and ask them how they did it. And if they charge you for it, just pay the fee if it's within your budget. If it's within your budget. If it doesn't bankrupt you, pay it. Because I'm a realist too. Like, you know what I'm saying? You don't want to be paying them something and then, you can't pay the mortgage or the house or nothing like that. Right. But that's the fastest way. But no, I appreciate you so much, Davonte. Man, you're a great client, bro. You gonna kill it. Like you're gonna kill it because you're trying to learn every single day. Everybody's watching, right now. Hit the link in the video description of this video if you want to apply to work with me one-on-one. I do not accept everybody. I tell some people like straight up like, no, you can't join, right? So apply the link in the bio. If you heard this conversation, it was an eye opener for you, and you really want the help, hit it. I'll reach out to you, see if I can help you out. You can join the team and you can come be a part of the program where you'll see Davonte killing it every day. And you'll see me in there. You'll see all my other clients. So with that being said, catch you all later.